I was not expecting this today. So Gameinformer has updated with even more Pokemon Sword and Shield exclusive coverage. This time it is going to be about the starter Pokemon for Generation 8, and they have a video interview with Junichi Masuda, Shigeru Omori, as well as James Turner to talk about Grookey. And don't worry guys, more videos are on the way. So coming up, we'll have similar videos focusing on Scorbunny and Sobble. Now here's the thing about the Gameinformer interviews. They've been doing a lot of them, and they'll release multiple ones during a day. So I don't know if we're going to get all 3 today, all over the course of the next 2 days as well, or just at some point. But yeah, I wonder how much information we're going to be getting, because when it comes to Grookey, we get really good insight into what its evolution could look like, and it might go that way for Scorbunny and Sobble as well. Then going on with leaks and stuff like that, things are about to get pretty crazy. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, get hype for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and don't forget to comment your thoughts down below as well. But when the video starts off, it's pretty mundane. Like, I thought it was just going to be 2 minutes of pretty much saying everything we already knew about Grookey, either from other interviews or just gameplay. For example, if you see it hit the ground, grass will suddenly start growing in that area. Now that was just like a neat thing to observe from the trailer, and then eventually, I think it took like over a month. No wait, it took much longer because that was February, and then the Pokemon Sword and Shield website didn't start updating until like June? So it took like 4 months to find out like the actual little Pokedex details about Grookey, so stick that has special effects. The stick held by Grookey was originally a branch from the forest where troops of Grookey live, but it's no longer a simple branch. It has gained special powers after being exposed to the energy within Grookey's body. And the energy of Grookey is another thing that actually becomes relevant, so it's not just like some meaningless flavor text. Things are starting to pick up pretty crazily, and it can give energy to plants. Its green fur creates energy from sunlight. Wilted flowers and leaves have been seen to regain their color when Grookey drums with its stick near them. Drums. I think, again, we kind of understood this and we knew about this information, but after the information from this new interview, that has a lot more meaning. So just weird, crazy stuff is happening, and let's start getting into some of the more interesting things. So, Grookey is the opposite of Sobble. I think a lot of fan art has captured that, but also we can just kind of see that, you know, Sobble is the depressed, scared, timid one, but Grookey is like the opposite in that way, that it's really a fun, happy Pokemon for fun and happy people. It is as cheery as the sunlight and the energy within it. So it's also not just like, hey, I'm just like a cheeky little monkey and I bang my stick. No, it's actually like a super bright and happy Pokemon. But then, one of the weirdest things happens. So when it comes to Grookey's stick, we all know that Grookey's stick is going to be pretty important, and pretty much everyone is theorizing that's going to be a main part of its evolutionary line in some way. So the Gameinformer interviewer just follows this up with, so the stick is going to be important to Grookey's evolution, and here's Omori's response. Not sure about that. Alright then, keep your secrets. Isn't it weird that these pictures have the same energy, but they're actually, like, opposite of each other? Because one is, like, calling out the keeping of secrets, and the other one is blatantly keeping secrets. You're bad, liar, Omori. I mean, look at poor James Turner. That is the look that James Turner gives when he's like, hard to say what Grookey will become, honestly, in response to the stick question, while also playing with Grookey's stick. And then he just looks at the interviewer like, nah. Just nah. Like, just watch this. That is one of my favorite things of all time now when it comes to Pokemon. Just that face, like, really, Omori? And then just kind of looking back, really? So, that's kind of the state. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Grookey's stick is going to be important to its evolution. Now, what makes this even more weird is that it really quickly goes from Game Freak being secretive to openly giving great information about Grookey's evolutions, because they start talking about Chimchar. That Chimchar is a monkey Pokemon, and it's also a starter, so isn't it weird that they're kind of doing the same thing? But then they say, I think just as there are many different types of monkeys in the world, the evolution is going to be different. And then once again, James Turner looks like he's about ready to have a stroke, or maybe he's already had the stroke at this point, because as they're talking about it, it's like, wait, you just like did that weak troll about Grookey's stick, and now you're just straight up saying that's going to be a completely different Pokemon to Infernape? what is going on here? And even though a lot of people did kind of expect that Grookey is going to be going a more ape-like, orangutan-like duration, this is just like hard confirmation of that. Because you just look at Infernape, and you can see that if the Pokemon are going to evolve differently, then Grookey being the opposite in both typing as well as design kind of makes sense. We can even see that maybe from the little bits of the pre-evolutions, and here's where things kind of get really confusing for me in a very semantic-y kind of way, because the difference between a monkey and an ape is a tail. Now, Grookey has a tail, so that means he's also going in a monkey-like direction, potentially, unless he loses his tail through evolution, but then that's the only way that he could become an ape. Or an orangutan, or something like that. So we gotta keep an eye on that one. However, Chimchar is really weird, because it goes to kind of not having a tail. You know, it is like a fire tail, but it's not a tail to having a monkey-like tail. But then Infernape's name is ape, and apes don't have tails. So that's my, like, semantic-y breakdown. When I'm, like, looking at this, they say you'll see differences in these monkey-themed Pokemon. Well, does that mean that Grookey is still going to be some kind of monkey? Or are they just kind of conflating monkeys and apes, and it's still going to be like the orangutan ape looking design for Grookey, because it will be that different? And since, you know, we can't even get the names right on Infernape, maybe that's going to be the case. That's not like a crazy, hard, super specific classification of these animals. They're Pokemon, they're going to become things, and at least Grookey's evolution is not going to look like Chimchar's evolution. I guess that's the takeaway we have right here. After that, James Turner gets fed up with Omori's nonsense and calls him an ape. I'm kidding, but it's kind of like that in a weird way. So Masuda comes in. If you're talking about real-world terms, a monkey would evolve into a human, so what are you talking about? So they kind of, like, I guess, take a lot of jokes and puns with, like, human, or not human, but, you know, real-world evolution versus Pokemon evolution. So there we have it. Junichi Masuda confirming it right there. We all came from monkeys. And then in the real world terms, and that's when James Turner's like, yeah, Omori is the evolution of Grookey, because it's going to be human-like in that kind of way. But it's going to be different because it's Pokemon. And then the last question was like, who is Grookey for? And then Omori says, people who like to dance or are into parties. And then Masuda and Omori kind of give away Grookey's evolution by doing fist pumps and going, yeah! So that's kind of what they're talking about. You know, the jovial, bright and jovial people are going to be good for Grookey, especially if you like to dance or go to parties, which means that, you know, Grookey likely going to use that stick to create some sick jungle beats and then use its energy to do some awesome, like, forestry stuff as well. I mean, that did seem where the direction of Grookey was going to go from when we first saw it. That's where a lot of predictions are going. And what I did was I just kind of looked at the top results for Google image search on, like, the fakes, or at least just fan art. That's another thing. Like, people will just post my fan art and be like, this is my fan art for Grookey's evolution. And then scumbag PokeTubers be taking that and being like, wow, look at this leak. That'll already be known as a fake. And they'll just say, it's a leak, or it's a rumor, when it's a fake. Either way, we can see that there's a lot of misses when it comes to design, if we could just kind of interpret what Game Freak has said right there. That's not going to be like old, sage, jungly kind of monkey. It's also not going to be super combative, because there's also been like a lot of bat kind of ideas. And I guess another big one is Cricket, because Cricket UK kind of like leading that to Grookey. That doesn't seem the case, because it's not going to be like a really serious sporting kind of Pokemon. It's going to be more of an upbeat, literal beats kind of monkey ape thing. And then, yeah, so that kind of takes away a lot of the designs, and then just some of the more blatantly fake ones we can cross out. But the one in the top right, that one's actually kind of interesting. So what happens is its tail becomes a bongo drum. So I think maybe something like that could happen, and that'd be like a really cool idea. But we don't really see the stick coming into play for that evolution, unless Omori was trolling and the stick just kind of isn't as important as Grookey's self-made beats or anything like that. So that's a thing. I gave half marks for like the in-between drum on back Grookey evolution. And then we have some drummer ideas in the middle right. I don't think it's going to be that on the nose, and I especially don't think that it's going to be like Toy Soldier drummer idea. So that's kind of what people are throwing out there. But maybe something in that direction. And then in the center bottom, you know, with like the female Grookey, I've been seeing so many of like those feminine Grookey designs, a lot more human-like looking, and I don't know where those come from, because people are like, well, they have to have a feminine evolution when it comes to the starters, because we saw that with Delphox, we saw that with Primarina. There's no trends like that when it comes to starter evolution, so people are really trying to force that. Maybe they think it'll look good for the clickbait. I don't know. And other than that, yeah, there are a lot of like crazy designs for Grookey, but I'm guessing stick, drum becomes important, and it's not going to be like Infernape. So we got that information, and since we haven't gotten a trailer this month, you know, that's another thing to take into consideration, that we're still waiting on that new Glimwood Tangle research update. That's not going to have the starter evolutions in that. And then the question becomes, how many more weeks until we get these starter evolution reveals for Pokemon Sword and Shield, if at all? Or is it even just going to be a November thing, and we don't even see the final evolutions? We just see first stage, that's it. Hopefully you can commit to your decision, buy our games, see you guys next week, effectively when they come out or something like that. It's going to be wild. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.